Most people waste a large part of their lives, not because they are lazy, not because they lack intelligence, but because they are chasing things that will never truly matter. And the tragedy is, most people only realize this when it is already too late, when the years behind them are greater than the years ahead. People who live very long lives often say something disturbing. They say that the world quietly teaches you the wrong priorities. You are taught to chase status, money, approval, endless distraction. But when you reach the end of life, almost none of those things turn out to be what truly mattered. What mattered were the moments you overlooked, the people you neglected, and the time you assumed you had. These are 20 hard truths about life that most people only understand when it is already too late. First, the comfort prison, the slow death of ambition. Human beings are incredibly adaptable, which sounds like a strength, but it is also a trap. You adapt to the job you dislike. You adapt to the routine that drains you. You adapt to a life that quietly feels smaller than the one you once imagined. And slowly, something inside you falls asleep. Your curiosity, your courage, your ambition. Comfort is seductive, but too much comfort is not peace, it is sedation. And by the time many people realize they have been living inside a comfort prison, decades have passed. Second, the approval trap, the invisible cage. Many people spend their entire lives trying to be liked, trying to be respected, trying to avoid disappointing others. They shape their personality around expectations. They silence parts of themselves. They choose safe paths instead of authentic ones. But here is the brutal truth. No matter what you do, some people will misunderstand you. Some people will dislike you. Some people will judge you unfairly. When you realize this, something powerful happens. You stop living for an imaginary audience, and you finally start living for yourself. Third, the time illusion, the silent thief. When you are young, time feels infinite. There is always another opportunity, another year, another chance. But time does something strange. It moves slowly when you look forward, and incredibly fast when you look back. One day, you suddenly realize something terrifying. Entire decades have disappeared. Not stolen by tragedy, not stolen by disaster, but quietly consumed by routine. Time is rarely taken from us violently. It is usually taken from us slowly, day by day, distraction by distraction, until we finally notice how little remains. Fourth, the distraction economy, the war for your attention. Your attention is one of the most valuable resources you possess, and the modern world is designed to harvest it. Entire industries exist for one purpose: to keep you scrolling, clicking, watching, reacting. Because the longer they control your attention, the less control you have over your own life. Every hour lost to meaningless distraction is an hour that cannot be invested in something real. Learning, creating, connecting, living. The tragedy is that most people only realize how much time they have wasted when those years are already gone. Fifth, digital decoupling, the biological revolt. You are an animal, a sophisticated one, but an animal nonetheless. Your body was built for sunlight, for movement, for the smell of rain, for the rhythm of seasons. Yet many people now spend most of their lives staring at glowing rectangles, disconnected from the natural world. Your brain senses this mismatch. Your nervous system feels the artificial environment, and it responds with anxiety, restlessness, exhaustion. Your body is not malfunctioning, it is protesting. A biological revolt against a life that no longer resembles the one humans evolved to live. Sixth, the death of choice, the paradox of plenty. Modern people believe they are free because they have endless options, endless careers, endless lifestyles, endless identities. But something strange happens when choices become infinite. People stop choosing. They hesitate, they delay, they second-guess every decision. Because with every choice comes the fear that another path might have been better. And so people remain stuck, not because they lack opportunity, but because they have too much of it. Seventh, the loneliness epidemic, the invisible collapse. Humans were never meant to live alone. For thousands of years, survival depended on tribes, families, communities, shared struggles, shared victories. But modern life quietly dismantled these structures. Neighbours became strangers, friends became followers, conversation became notifications. You can now be surrounded by millions of people online and still feel completely alone. Loneliness is not just emotional, it is biological. Your brain interprets isolation as danger. And over time, that quiet loneliness begins to reshape your mind, your energy, your health, your sense of meaning. The tragedy is that many people only realize the importance of connection after they have already lost it. Eighth, The success illusion, the empty victory. Many people spend their entire lives chasing success, status, recognition, money, achievement. They believe that once they reach the top, everything will finally feel complete. But when some people finally arrive, they experience a strange silence, because the thing they were chasing was never happiness, it was validation. And validation fades quickly. There is always someone richer, more successful, more admired. Success can build a comfortable life, but it cannot build a meaningful one. That requires something entirely different. Ninth, the comparison trap, the thief of joy. The human mind has a dangerous habit. It constantly compares. Your career against someone else's, your life against someone else's, your success against someone else's. And in the modern world, this comparison never stops, because you are now exposed to thousands of carefully edited lives every single day. Perfect vacations, perfect bodies, perfect relationships, perfect success. But what you are seeing is not reality. It is performance. And if you measure your life against someone else's highlight reel, you will always feel like you are losing. 10th, the meaning crisis, the silent question. Every human life eventually confronts the same question. Why am I here? For most of history, that question had clear answers. Religion, family, community, tradition. But modern life removed many of those structures and replaced them with freedom. Freedom sounds wonderful until you realize it also means responsibility. Because now you must create meaning for yourself. And many people spend their entire lives avoiding that question, distracting themselves, entertaining themselves, busying themselves, until one day the silence returns and the question is still waiting. 11th, the fragility of time, the vanishing present. Most people believe their life is made of years, but it is not. It is made of moments. Moments with people you love, moments of laughter, moments of peace, moments of meaning. And yet most people spend those moments somewhere else, thinking about tomorrow, regretting yesterday, rarely noticing the only place life is actually happening, right now. The present moment is fragile, and once it passes, it is gone forever. 12th, the ego illusion, the invisible enemy. The ego is a strange thing. It constantly wants to be right, to win arguments, to prove superiority, to defend its identity. But the ego does not care about truth. It cares about dominance. And many conflicts in life are not about solving problems. They are about protecting pride. Years of friendships can be destroyed by a single stubborn moment. Relationships can collapse because no one wants to admit they were wrong. The ego protects your pride, but it often destroys your peace. 13th, the fear barrier, the unlived life. Fear rarely announces itself loudly. It whispers. It says, maybe later, maybe next year, maybe when you are more prepared. And those whispers quietly shape entire lives. Dreams postponed, risks avoided, opportunities ignored. Many people reach old age and realize something painful. They were never defeated by failure. They were defeated by hesitation. 14th, the relationship truth, the real currency. In the end, relationships become the true currency of life. Not money, not status, not achievements. What matters are the people who were there, the ones who laughed with you, supported you, stood beside you during difficult moments. Many people sacrifice relationships for ambition, believing they will repair them later. But time does not always allow that second chance. 15th, the illusion of control, the great uncertainty. Human beings crave control. We plan, we predict, we strategize. But life has its own plans. Illness, accidents, unexpected change. No matter how carefully you design your future, uncertainty will eventually interrupt it. The goal is not to control everything. The goal is to remain resilient when life refuses to cooperate. 16th, the adaptation trap, the slow normalization. Human beings adapt to almost anything: comfort, chaos, stress, even unhappiness. At first, something feels wrong. A job that drains you, a routine that suffocates you, a life that feels smaller than the one you imagined. But slowly, the discomfort fades. Not because things improved, but because you adapted. What once felt unbearable becomes normal, and what became normal becomes your life. Many people wake up decades later and realize they slowly adapted to a life they never truly wanted. 17th, the energy economy, the invisible currency. Every day you wake up with a limited amount of energy, not just physical energy, mental energy, emotional energy, attention. And yet most people spend this energy carelessly, on distractions, on pointless arguments, on things that do not matter. But energy is the real currency of life. Where you spend it determines what your life becomes. Spend it on meaningless noise, and your life becomes noise. Spend it on meaningful things, and your life becomes meaningful. 18th, the mortality wall, the awakening. For most of life, death feels abstract, something distant, something theoretical. But eventually, everyone encounters the mortality wall, a moment when the illusion breaks. Maybe a funeral, maybe illness, maybe the sudden loss of someone close. And suddenly, the truth becomes impossible to ignore. Life is finite. And once you truly understand that, everything changes. Your priorities, your fears, your definition of success. 19th, the legacy question. What remains? At some point, every human life asks the same question. What will remain when I am gone? Not the money, not the titles, not the achievements. Those fade faster than we imagine. What remains are the traces we leave in other people, the kindness we offered, the lives we touched, the memories we helped create. Your legacy is not built from success. It is built from impact. 20th, the final realization. What actually matters? After decades of living, after mistakes, after victories, after loss, most people eventually arrive at the same quiet realization. Life was never about winning. It was about experiencing, learning, connecting, growing. The small moments were never small. They were the whole point. The conversations, the laughter, the time spent with people who mattered. Those were the real treasures, hidden in plain sight the entire time. One day, every life reaches the same place, a moment of reflection. And in that moment, the noise of the world becomes very quiet. What mattered becomes obvious, and what didn't fades away. Most people only see these truths when they are standing near the end of the road. But you don't have to wait that long, because understanding these lessons earlier can change everything. How you spend your time, how you treat people, how you choose to live. The question is not whether these truths are real. Time will eventually prove them. The only real question is whether you will understand them early enough to live differently.